Good afternoon. It's Julie Ziemelis with 365 Hawaii and Keller Williams Big Island and the 365 Hawaii team. And I'm here today with the ever-present Lance Owens from Luba Real Estate. Today we kind of start with a little bit of some somberness over what's happened to our island neighbors over in Maui and Lahaina specifically. And I think we wanted to kind of start this off with a little bit about that before we jump into statistics, because we were just talking about the fact that everyone's been kind of in a sad mood over the last week, and then in the last 2 days with all this information about land grabbing and how the whole cultural real estate thing is, we just want to just bring it out on the table.
Yeah, I think that's good because it is hard, and people are going to see this in a month or two from now when things are back to normal. And
you go, what? But maybe things will not be back to normal in like a month or two, sadly.
I mean, they'll be forgotten about.
Yeah. This is the news cycle of today. The news cycle of today is the fact that Lahaina residents may be getting phone calls from people on the mainland trying to buy their property and while they're in distress. And that's pretty crappy. And what do you think about that?
Yeah, so we've been, just to give you a heads up, we've been battling that this week. I mean, there's so many more important things, but that seems to have captured the headlines.
Yeah, right.
That's like, this is horrible. I mean, that's like right behind body count is that realtors are stealing land, land grabbing in Hawaii. So we worked very diligently from the very beginning to see what kind of person would be doing that. Mm-hmm. And we reached out to, of course, the Maui Association of Realtors, and they were on it, and they're like, it's not our people. We've got not half of them, but a large amount of them lost their homes themselves. Mm-hmm. And things. There's nobody reaching out from Maui doing that. And we had finally, after a few days of just digging, because it was a big part of it was this one social media post that just went viral. It had 3,500 shares or something crazy. It was just insane how many shares it had, and
because people are angry.
People are angry
of the thought of that happening.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, I mean, there's still smoldering, and somebody's sending me mail saying that they want to buy my property. So we chased that down to find out what was happening, and what was happening there is, if anybody's done postcard mailers or the letters, if you've ever been involved in that for anything you're doing, they take about a month to get up and going and sent out and generated in the mailing list and things like that. So sadly, timing could not have been more horrible than it was, and it was not intentional. It was something that's put in place long before. So this company, I don't even want to call them out because they'd done this prior. They posted an apology on their page.
Oh, they did.
Yeah, and they went and donated some money to a teachers fund for the schools over there, and it was just part of their normal marketing. They sent out letters at the same time. People in Lahaina were getting these postcards, and around the area, people in Nava Beach were getting them, and people in other areas. They weren't realtors. They were investors, and it was put out, so it was not a realtor thing put out, but lots of realtors send them out. We've sent out mailers before, and at the time that they were sent, it was a beautiful place in paradise at that time. So it's been difficult. It's been a difficult challenge in fighting that and bringing that to light, but because the news media's made this explode, it has created this influx of now what they said would happen is happening, because they've just told the whole world that this is happening here. Now everybody's afraid they're going to miss out on doing a land grab on Maui. So we've just been getting a couple reports that we're getting referrals from people that are saying that they have somebody that's interested in buying some of that land, and can you help them? And of course, our agents here are saying this is not the appropriate time,
right? Yeah, and
they're ending the call and the conversation at that time. So. Some of these people are being more aggressive, and they're going out anyways and doing it, and it's not acceptable, and that's not what we're about in Hawaii, and that's not what realtors are doing. Right. Realtors are protecting people, and we've been reaching out to the governor. I've had several text messages with him about what's happening and assuring him that's not what's happening in Maui with our local realtors. But another thing that just came up is there's somebody impersonating a local realtor. So you go out. You've seen those things on Craigslist where they use a realtor's name, and then they say the place is for rent or
Oh
whatever.
yeah, that's a fraud experience. Yeah.
So they're going out and they're saying that they are actually, hey, I work with so and so, and he's got me out. We're kind of canvassing and looking if you want to sell your property. And he's like, I'm with the state board, and so we're getting these reports, and we're trying to, trying to just see what's happening and watching it closely is very, very important. So, with that happening, that person is devastated that somebody would be using their name.
Oh, that's the worst. That's a way to get your own house egged and.
So people in social media are now spreading his name and slamming him. So it's just. We're all just devastated. It's hard to sit here and be happy and talk about numbers and talk about the market. It's just such a difficult time overall.
Yeah. And some of you on the mainland, they tried to make it a point of this, and I read an article. I think it was all the news coverage, all the news stations, like all the major publications are talking about land grab in Maui.
Yeah.
But at least it has Josh Green saying that's not going to happen here.
Right.
We're going to make sure that doesn't happen here. And with all the realtors basically being told if we catch anybody doing that, hell to pay.
Yeah.
But the story
We're too close to the community. You can't do that and get away with it.
Right. No one's going to be making money off of this. But they made a point to tell people who are not completely familiar with the culture and the history of Hawaii. Why is this a big deal? And just so you guys know, the Hawaiians have felt that people have been taking their land since 73 or whatever, when the queen was dethroned, and the state came in and basically took all the Hawaiian lands. And so the Hawaiians in general have never been exactly fans of the government, and thinking that someone is going to come in and take their land is like the fastest way to raise the biggest hackles in the entire culture.
Yeah.
And so this is like really, really stirring people up. So so you might see this in the national news. If you're from around Hawaii, you're definitely probably have heard about it already. So at least you got a chance to hear from Lance kind of where this is coming from. And so in that, realtors are not predatory, and definitely realtors are the people that work in their own communities and would do nothing to hurt the people who actually live there.
Especially realtors on Maui and in Hawaii. We just all know each other. It's too small an island.
Yeah, and we're the rest of us are just as sad and affected. Everyone knows somebody that was in the fire. In fact, one of our Keller Williams agents, he and his mother have not been found yet, and so with just 1,000 people that are missing, but it's like it's been a week. So AT&T came in today to put up cell towers. And they said maybe people are injured or they just haven't had access to a phone, and they're hoping maybe people are going to be found, but it doesn't look good. So
it doesn't, and there's people that won't leave the area because they're not letting them back in, right? So,
well, they are.
If
I heard the roads were open today.
Roads are open in some areas, right? But in most of the areas it's open. But for the last 8 days they haven't been,
right. They've been trapped.
So people weren't leaving, but they weren't getting water and they weren't getting supplies into them. So it was kind of, they're like, come to our shelters. They want people to come. People won't leave their homes, and they're wanting things. And so, and I would probably be one of those people. I'm not leaving my home and going out.
Well, and especially when you heard that once you went out, you can't come back in.
Right.
Yeah. So then
I wouldn't leave.
So you'd be hunkering down.
I'm not leaving my home.
Yeah. Waiting for the convoy coming over from Molokai and Lanai with the boats with the food, like they were doing. It's you guys. I'm sure most of you have been watching what's going on. It is amazing how the community can take care of itself.
Yeah.
When you can't wait for the big guys to show up, you rally and you take care of yourself. So if you guys ever move to Hawaii, just know that. Strangers take care of strangers, family takes care of family, and the ohana that we all have. In fact, when we had wildfires up here in Waikoloa Village, they had set up a shelter or an evacuation site down at Old Airport, and we had about 40 of our Kona Newbies people come together and make food, bring food, all the stuff. And we were like cooking, we had pizzas and we were cooking food, and the Red Cross was like passing out like bottles of water. And we're like cooking food, passing out pizza. So we take care of people.
And it's kind of, the same problem happened in 2018 here with the lava flow. They were turning away so many things. We had some local leaders, not anything to do with real estate, but some local leaders in the community over on the other side of the island that it actually put together a station that was giving out the stuff that the they were almost across the street.
Right, they were across the street.
You know, and it was amazing that
Yeah.
what we do here and what happens. Interesting too was I signed up for, you'll never guess, but you'll laugh when I say, but I did sign up for, there's a group that's been going around the country, I think for over a decade now, and it's called Operation Barbecue Relief.
No.
And so they get out there and they barbecue and cook food for 12, 14 hours a day.
Wow.
And because you're in areas without power and without water.
Barbecues are great.
So it's great. And so I know Weber Grills. I found out because I was calling my Weber rep. I'm on a first name basis with my Weber rep on my phone. He's on speed dial. And it's like, what's going on? And he says, I'm heading to Maui. We were delivering 50 grills over there. They're donating 50 grills. And then so this Operation Barbecue Relief is over there. And I signed up and I've been given a couple of shifts to do. And what was interesting is in the packet they sent me, in there was a cultural fact sheet about Hawaii.
Oh.
I just thought, wow.
That's awesome.
Wow,
Wow.
that blew me away. That was so cool. I wish I was there right now when they're learning about it,
Yeah.
because understanding it. But I'm sure there's a lot of good people on Maui that are helping them understand it.
Yeah, in fact, I actually talked to you about that. We have the chefs. I told we were helping sort donations on Sunday, and we were getting them onto the Cessna plane that was being taken directly into Kapalua in West Maui. And the people that were helping us said these pilots are donating their time. They keep flying back and forth and back and forth, and we need to feed them.
Yeah.
So we're looking for donations for meals for these pilots. And so I said, well, I know some chefs. And so I sent a little note over to Chef Ulip at Meridia. And I said, we need about, I don't know, 7 or 8 meals. And you tell a chef, I need 7 or 8 meals. What else can we do, right?
Yeah.
So he connected with Chef Abercar and Gomes, all the big guys from the resorts. And they're coming together to do a big, making meals that can be delivered already made.
Yeah.
Over to Maui, so those people who are stuck in hotel rooms, they can't make food. They're going to be, they're going to be in at least shelter, but they're in hotel rooms, so they're not cooking a lot of food.
Right.
So these guys are going to bring
That's
over
good.
gourmet
That's awesome.
food, and it'd be interesting if we got the grills out in front of the hotels and did grilled food and different kinds of food.
They are set up. Now you got me. Sorry, guys. Now you got me. They are set up at. I got to get through all my emails about the stuff. Where'd it go? Operation Barbecue Relief Deployment Notification. So they are at Fat Daddy Smokehouse on Kihei Road.
Okay.
So typically they go in, they're going to feed whoever's hungry and whatever needs to be done, but typically they go in to help with the first responders and everybody, get them all set up.
Right.
Get that going. So that'll be interesting. There's no, you don't have to be one of those. You have to be hungry and want food.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm sure that there's a level of sanitation and food safety that they probably want the food to be cooked somewhere near a commercial kitchen. So that's why they're using that restaurant, I'm sure, in Kihei, instead of going out on the street in front of a hotel. Got some meat on the grill, honey. So
it's kind of funny if you look. If you look on the Facebook page and look on their Facebook page, and they've got some cool photos on there already of what they're doing. Plates just stacked out like crazy.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Eric, do you have something?
I'm just saying, people are chiming in. We've got JJ is watching. Brad says, aloha, Lance, Julie, and Eric. And then Shauna says, aloha, and thanks for all you're doing for Maui Strong, Hawaii Strong. Lance Bond says, aloha, Julie, Lance, and Eric. And James Porter says,
guys.
Aloha, Julie, Eric, and Lance.
There you go.
You
These guys
guys
get
are
this.
awesome.
You know what? Lance and James were watched the show yesterday too. They're.
I saw them on that.
Yeah, it's so funny.
I watched the recording. I didn't watch it live.
Okay, yeah. These guys are junkies. They're real estate junkies. I love them. So with that, okay. So we've talked about food. We talked about relief. We talked about real estate not being what's it called? When something is bad, not the scion. There's a good word for this, and I just can't quite grasp it. But it's real estate and realtors being a bad thing for the island. Realtors are the basis of community most days, and also you volunteer your face off, right? And I'm also in fact I'll tell you guys a little bit of information. I am on the permitting task force for the Kona Kahala Chamber of Commerce, and we met with a gentleman with Vibrant Hawaii, who is doing a ton of research to be able to show state and county leaders where our problems with affordable housing actually lie with the numbers. So all the report wasn't exactly anything you and I would think that was anything new and different. But interestingly, they have a map, and it says where it's zoned to have multi-family development. It's a joke. It's like 0.04% on the entire island chain. I mean, there's so we're working on policy to try and like at least get something happening here so we can get some more people into affordable housing.
How many people come in and they want and now I can't even think of the name of it, but a duplex, that is, people always want, it's a great way for people to get started. A young couple go in and they can buy a duplex, and they can go ahead and they can rent out one side and live in the other and start building wealth and do it. It'd be great people for local people to start.
Yeah.
And they can rent it to family members, whatever you want to rent it to, but that's half your income.
Right.
And they're built as 2 units side by side with typically you'll have like a concrete wall going between the two so you don't hear noise or hear
or like a
anything.
fence. In fact, I lived in one of those in Los Gatos. In fact, the whole like a little condo. I mean, it wasn't a condo. It was a duplex. It was like a cul-de-sac, and they were all duplexes.
Yeah.
And so I lived on one side and
Townhouses or
counted.
duplex, yeah.
And then somebody else lived on the other side, and the guy who owned both sides got a chance to be the investor on both, and it provided affordable housing for me and my 2 friends.
Exactly.
So that's exactly what it does. It gives
We
people in their
need that,
20s someplace to live that's affordable.
And that's the hard part here because people have not, being a tenant and renter, you just think about how you grew up and what happened, right? You get tired of mom and dad telling you what to do, right? You're 18 now.
I'm going to get an apartment.
I can have a beer. I can do whatever I want. Speaking of that, I think it's time, Eric. I'm getting thirsty. We got through the hard stuff. Today's choice is Ola Ma'a. So that is what her choice is for
There you go.
today. And cheers to our friends out there.
Here's our, here we go. Here's to
Yeah, here we go.
our thoughts on
Thank you.
all the sadness in our island chain at this moment.
And but where you get your start at is you get tired of mom and dad telling you what to do, so you go get an apartment. You get all the freedom in the world. You stay up till 2 a.m. The kids these days are 5 a.m. playing their games in the living room, and mom and dad not yelling at them. So that's your first experience, right? You're a tenant. You get moved out. You do about 3 or 4 years of that, and you get tired of your landlord telling you can't park on the grass, you got too many friends over, you're too loud late at night. So you get tired of that, so then you go buy your own home. And we don't have that in-between step.
No, we
There's
don't.
no place for people to rent
They
here.
talked about that. It's called a lack of move-up experiences or something. Yeah, and
that's part
and
of
that's
it,
and
right?
that you guys. I mean, again, sometimes I wonder who. I know that we have our local base over here, like Lance and those guys, but there's 700 other people watching it from the YouTube side of life. I don't think that sometimes people, when they call and say, "I'm just trying to find an apartment to live in, to come in here and live in Hawaii for a little bit before I get here," we don't have apartment buildings. We have like 2, and everybody else is living in ohanas and
Where are they?
condos. right downtown, like that one that's next to the church on the other side of the church. Is an apartment building there. I don't know. I don't think those are condos. No.
It's condos, yeah.
Are those condos?
Yeah.
Okay. So where do we have apartments? Oh, we have Section 8 housing.
Section 8 is
yeah.
the only apartments that I can think of off the top of my head. There's been a few of them that have been converted into condos that were apartments.
Okay.
Kailua Bay Resort.
That used to be
apartments.
Okay.
That
And
used to be
also
apartments.
the Kona Islander.
Yeah,
Those are both condos now, though.
Yeah, now they are,
yeah.
Okay, so at the end of the day, we don't have small,
Yeah.
small kind living arrangements. And then when they talk about this, like you guys really want to hear housing policy, but whatever, down at the old
do
airport,
now.
yeah, now you're going to hear it anyway. The new industrial area.
Yeah.
The old industrial.
Old industrial.
Okay, so that's at the end of Kuakini. That is zoned for multifamily homes, right? But they won't build them because they don't know what to do with the infrastructure. We need to widen the roads. We gotta get water down there.
They won't give us water. 'cause
Right,
we don't
and
have
they also
sewer.
the sewer has to be hooked up, so they have to deal with that. So before we can build the housing, we got everything else. So there you go. It's just in a nutshell. What is going on? So I know probably sales have dropped. Just so you guys know, nationally, sales have dropped 20% year over year. So that's not prices, that's the sales.
So our sales went up.
Okay.
Not much. We did. I think it was. Let me get that number. We did 27 last year and 28 this year. I think was the number.
Okay.
So it's not like we went up by a lot. So I'm not going to you hero you.
You've been you heroed.
I'm not going to do that. The number of sales, that's our median price, sorry. Yeah, 27 last year, 28 this year. So we're up 3.7% in the number of homes sold.
Okay, so we're kind of hanging
in here. Yeah, so
Okay.
we're staying there. So
Okay.
it's all good. Condos went down 36%.
No.
So maybe if you run the two, I don't know if they're talking about housing and condos,
Housing.
and what they're talking about. So condos
Housing.
went down
36%.
36%. There was 36 sold last year, 23 this year.
Ooh, okay. I'm gonna just throw this out. I know statistics lie, and but I'm saying that maybe people who buy condos are sometimes investors and buying houses for a second home, and maybe they've pulled a little bit out of the market because of that rise in interest rates. But homes are still selling because there's people still on this island. They're still trying to buy housing as move up. Anything to say about that?
Yeah, I think you might have a little bit of, we had a condo sitting out there for too long, and a lot of the things was people were trying to make the numbers work. Mm-hmm. They were going to put 30% down, and, in our case, the condo, I think we were at 860. So if you put 30% down and you're borrowing the balance, your HOA fees are $1,400 a month, your taxes are $4,000 a year, and then your mortgage payment is this. You're not going to come to Hawaii and make money. I keep telling people that. What you're going to do is offset your cost of ownership, okay, and you are going to hope that you get future an increase in
Equity
increase. Thank you.
Yeah, in fact, they're
In
saying
all
that
sense.
prices are supposed to go up 6% year over year
Yeah.
between now and then. But we'll see. I've heard there's
Yeah.
economic indicators that says that the Fed is certainly ratcheting up a recession.
Yeah.
So we will see.
I actually want to stop. I put in my last listing. Well, it hasn't come out yet, but we're selling real property. We're not selling a business.
Yeah.
We're not claiming profit. You're going to offset your ownership costs. Is what's going to happen.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
So this is kind of a shocker, and so it made me go look.
Okay.
Okay. Median price
For a single family home
for a single family home
in North Kona.
in North Kona went to
Up.
on the wrong page, you guys.
Okay. And also knowing that now that you guys know, sales have basically been the same this year compared to last year. So what happened with the median price?
So median price last year, I think this is when we hit a record, is at 1.325 million was last year. It was at 967,000 last
This year?
month. Yeah.
Last month?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Well, 967.
Okay.
So under a million. Okay, that's a 26% drop, 27% drop. That's huge. That's
That is
astronomical.
Huge. If we made that
okay?
a press release, home prices in Kailua Kona dropped 25% year over year. That's crazy.
But when you can't, and I even heard you and Amber talking yesterday, there were so few sold, you got to be
Yeah.
careful. We're
Skewed.
we're
It's skewed.
It's skewed.
Yeah.
I won't say that word again. Who I'm doing. Skewed numbers. But, so I just, so to wonder, what's happening? Is this month the same thing? Where are we at? What's our median price? No, we're only halfway into the month. So it's not a real fair number. But where are we at? Are we still tracking under a million? To month to date right now, we're at a $1.5 million median price.
Which sounds actually a little bit more like what's kind of happening.
Kind of happening, yeah.
Yeah. In fact, we were looking at the local listings that have come up recently. Like today, we were at a Caravan, and at least there wasn't only $2 and $4 million houses on the market this week compared to 2 weeks ago when that's all there was. There was a couple 875, 9 something 6, but that seems to be your average schmo house now is 900.
Yeah.
And that's kind of even a little tired of a house.
Yeah.
So if you want like your happy little 3-bedroom, 2-bath, I don't really hate this house, you're paying 1.2, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So there we go.
And you're gonna have to, it's dated. It's probably built in 05 or 03, something in that.
Yeah.
So still nice, still livable. It's clean, but you've got the thinking of 2005. And,
Yeah. I was thinking of, again, here we guys go. I was looking at some of these videos that we've been doing over the last few years. And then whenever they say what the median home price is, I'm always like this, oh, that's just bad. That's so sad. And then I was doing that when it was 650. Right?
Oh, yeah.
And then
Yeah.
it's 7, and then it's 8, and it's 9.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to stop now. Because
Yeah.
you know what? This is reality. This is just what it is. So it's not bad nor good. It's just what it is.
I've had realtors come up to me that have backed off and not sold in the last year, and they're like, I can't do it. I can't sell that house for that price.
Oh.
And I'm like, that person buying that house for that price, you should see what they just got on the mainland for that home and that price.
Yeah, that's true
and
too. Yeah.
It's just, it happens. You can't stop.
Yeah.
You
In
can
fact,
facilitate.
there is that level of, what people are selling their houses for on the mainland, and basically all ships go like this,
Yep.
and they got a fortune. They come over here with their little mini fortune, and this is the reason why we're at where we're at with the housing market. In this U Hero report was showing housing prices like this, and then all of a sudden 2021, 2022, this the crazy, and it happened across the country. So no one's shocked. This is happening to everybody's market, so there's no shocking. It is what it is.
Yeah.
So, let's see here. Mike O'Connor said that the population of Hawaii County for 2023 is 205,000
That's for the whole county.
for the whole county,
Yeah.
and the growth rate is, they're saying, 3/4% growth rate for the county.
Okay. So, Mike,
That was for 22?
23.
23 so far.
Can you find out how many housing structures there are in West Hawaii?
And I'm trying to think, my mind is spinning in the background as we're going through this, trying to remember my numbers, because we got 2/3 almost of our homes are on cesspools on the Big Island, right?
Right.
And if that's 49,000, let's round it up to 50, that means we're going to have somewhere around 75,000 homes on the Big Island. So I got to break it down to, the problem is with some of these reports too, these guys break it down by zip codes. We don't break it down by zip codes.
Yeah. Okay. And don't forget, there are a boatload of houses in HPP and HOVE.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. More so than what we have here.
Yeah.
So
So
and those
find
are all
out
on septic.
where those numbers are coming from too, and
Okay.
see if we'll have to look and see, because I'm interested.
Because now we have Mike O'Connor helping us now too.
Yep, thank you, Mike.
Brad, you have a run for your money with Mike O'Connor. So
Where's Brad
sharpen
at?
your
Where
pencil, my
where-
friend.
Here, he chimed in already.
You gotta read what Brad says. He's gonna probably go like this. Hey, Brad. Okay, so get this. With condos,
Yep, let's look at
what's
condos.
the median price for a condo?
Median price for condo was wrong page.
Last
I
time it
just
was-
did this half month one.
Okay.
I need to tear that out, throw it away. I just wanted to see where that number went.
Okay.
So the median price for condos was $525 last year. It's $575 this year.
575. Okay.
So a 9.52% increase.
Okay. That's about what's what it is.
$50,000. So
What'd you think? And again, we were just talking here. What'd you think of that condo today that was listed in Keahu Surf and Racket for 1.2 million?
1.35.
1.35.
I missed seeing that one. I only got out to a couple.
Blake.
Yeah, I didn't look at it. But those are oceanfront.
Yeah.
That's the that's in the condo side, not the townhouse side, right?
Okay.
Am I correct? Was it
Yeah.
building 3? wasn't
Yes,
it,
I
or
think that's what you
something?
said.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, if you look, they're over $1 million there now.
Okay, so it is what it
That
is.
is what it is. Yeah.
Okay, so.
So
okay.
2 questions. One was, Kim says, what are they planning to replace the pet cesspools with? And Brad says, I'm on the iPad tonight, so Mike can drop the links.
Hand it over to the old Myco. So what they want to do is separate. They want to turn cesspools into septic tanks, right?
Yeah, which is just a fancier version of a cesspool. I mean, it's
Well,
really
with a tank.
with a tank that,
Yeah.
that still puts all the stuff straight into the ground after it. So it goes into the tank. It spends more time breaking down in the tank before it goes into the earth. At the end of the day, it's the same stuff going into the earth. I love Surfrider Foundation, who's kind of been a big push behind this. If you look at their mainland website, it's showing the pollution that a cesspool does in a septic tank, and they're almost virtually the same.
No.
It is. So like you say, your solids are getting trapped in that septic tank, and then it goes over to the next part of the tank and breaks down more, and then it goes out to the leach field. Still the same stuff. In the lava rock where it's breaking down in here, it's not like in the Midwest where you actually can get toilet paper and stuff coming up through the ground and things like that.
It happens.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And I saw it in Missouri when I was there. You just saw stuff that was, because it's all mud. There's no rock. You know? And
Yeah, but
so-
then with our rock, it goes into our underground stream system. It goes right out into the ocean.
but it's breaking down.
Yeah,
before
some
it
level,
goes.
I'm sure. Yeah.
I mean, if you're on Leahy Drive, if you're in like Pulico, where they always are going to do their test, they're having to fill the tanks with water to sink them because Pulico is.
It's flat. It's right
Look
there,
at Google Earth and zoom in on homes. Half those homes they're built over ponds and they're built in their yards. It's really, really flat, and at high tide the water is up to where they have to fill these tanks with water, bury them, and then pump the water out and then hook the toilet into it.
Ooh.
So it's a septic tank that might as well just
Be
go
nothing.
straight into the ocean.
Right.
Because that's what's happening.
Right, and that's how the Great Reef is dead.
Yeah.
But I did have a friend, and he was talking about the fact that innovation has to reign their head here. That maybe we can do. They say there's tablets that actually burn the human waste, so that way it actually burns up and incinerates in these tanks.
Well, we're going to have concrete tanks and methane gas and stuff burning. I mean,
If anybody out there has innovation ideas, please save our island from wastewater that's leaching directly into the ground.
what we're pushing for as realtors is just that there's several thousand homes here in Kona are within a mile of the sewer system. They have to just put out extenders, but of course they have to. The sewer plant can't handle what's happening.
Right.
But you can't dump this $30,000 bill on a homeowner. I mean, that's why we pay taxes. We're supposed to have infrastructure. We're supposed to have water, sewer, and things like that. Now, I get it when you're up in areas like where I'm at. Properties are 3 to 20 acres, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can't. I don't expect them to run a sewer line to every house. That doesn't make sense. But when you're in these concentrated areas,
Yeah, this neighborhood.
they're in the coast here.
Yeah.
I mean, so Kamani Trees is 200 homes. Pines 1 is 200 homes. Pines
Is
2 is 200
Kaimai
homes.
trains all on cesspool?
All on
too?
cesspool.
Yeah, I know. I know. And people from the mainland go like this. What kind of show are you guys running over there?
right.
At least this neighborhood I'm in was built in 1972, and it was before a lot of the rest of the town got built up, and they thought, what's a little poop in the ground,
Yeah.
right? But then to build Kaimani Trees, which is an actual subdivision of homes.
It was planned in the 80s and executed. The first ones were sold in the 1990, and then my house was built in 1990.
Okay.
With 80s technology, that was
Yeah.
okay. But these decentralized systems, okay, so there's decentralized systems that can actually, the crap can go uphill up to 80 feet in elevation, but there's plenty below the pines. There's vacant land below Kamani Trees. There's vacant land.
Oh, so
there's areas that they could put these decentralized systems in that you wouldn't have to worry about a pump in your.
Yeah, you're basically
in your
making
system.
little mini wastewater treatment plants,
Yeah.
right? In different parts, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
decentralized.
Yeah.
So we're trying to push out to the high schools and the kids is like, all you got to do is get educated in that. If you're going to go to the mainland for a couple of years of college, get educated because somebody's got to run all these systems.
Yeah, I know. Gosh.
Look at the hotels. All the hotels have their own.
Wastewater treatment
Yeah.
plants. In fact,
They all
in
have.
Keauhou, the treatment plant is actually in the golf course.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's clever ways of making it happen, but
Totally.
Yeah.
If all these golf courses can do it, all these subdivisions can do it.
yeah. So that's another thing too, you guys. Transparency. That if you buy a house in West Hawaii, just know about your septic and your cesspool experience because it's a part of life here in West Hawaii, and we're all going to have to deal with
Yeah.
this thing. So, yeah.
I've been at the meeting. They're already working on the legislation for 2030 for priority 1 and 2030. For every year, they're going to hit us with this.
Yeah.
Every single year.
Well, I'm hoping that, again, one of my friends who comes from the future, the mainland, said this
Back
is
to the
ridiculous.
future.
You guys are looking at it like Neanderthals in terms of how do you think you have to change this around. There's innovation happening right now
Mm-hmm.
around this. Keep your eyes open and figure out a different way than what you're thinking. So let's just see. Right.
Yeah, I know. They keep talking about the Bill Gates toilet and
Oh.
these incinerator things and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So I can't imagine switching the public into taking a baggie out of the bathroom
No.
all the time and sending it to landfall. And that's the next thing. So when they're pumping the sludge and stuff out of these hotels that have their own stuff, they're bringing it to the wastewater plant here in Kelvin.
Yes. Then they just put
It's
it out
overwhelmed
to there.
and it's going into the ocean.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Um,
So move to the island and get into wastewater treatment
Wastewater
plant
treatment plant.
experiences because we actually need you here.
Okay, so wait, before we leave that, I've got Mike Cooper,
Connor.
Mike O'Connor chimed in with a few facts for you.
Okay, let's hear the facts.
There are 88,000 cesspools in the state, okay? And it's broken down 14,000 on Kauai, 12,000 on Maui, 11,000 on Oahu, and 50,000 here on the Big Island, okay? So there you go.
We're a bigger island.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2/3. Every 2 out of 3 homes that you sell is on a cesspool. And when they create these restrictions for 2030 and 2035, that all sounds great on paper, and I'm saving the planet, I'm saving the earth, but what happens is banks don't loan on a home that's going to come into EPA violations and things like that. So they quit loaning money. I know this for a fact. I lived it in 2005 when they outlawed gang cesspools. This is the same thing, you guys. It's a cesspool. Instead of 7 homes going into one that's 7 times the size of what it was there, you've got 7 of them going into 7 separate ones, but it's
It's
the
all
same
going
thing.
into the ground.
Banks quit loaning on it, and what was happening? People are like, well, how do they know? And it's like the appraisers have to call it out.
Oh.
That's their job. Is there an environmental concern with this property when they're doing their things? They have to say, yes, this property sits on this, and this homeowner is going to have at least a $30,000 bill due by the year 2030 to convert. And the bank's like, we won't loan on that until it's converted. They repo too many homes, foreclose on them, that people can't afford that 30 grand, and then the fines start stacking up. So,
Well, they say when you can't get a mortgage on a house, it's kind of like what happened in Lava Zone 1 and 2.
yeah,
Then the prices go down.
if that's how, yeah, no, I mean,
It's like
but
people can't,
do
when,
that.
okay, go ahead.
So Brad said, Brad has got chiming in here. He says, we are experiencing, this is in Cape Cod, we're experiencing a forced change here. We have septic, and we're being forced to change to nitrogen systems.
See,
yeah.
there's another way. So maybe if people are seeing it work on the mainland in ways that we can skip the shit technology that we're thinking that we have to do to maybe get something better because somebody else is using something that is actually working someplace else. I have to
Yep.
believe that. But also,
And we've been looking at different areas and different things. The problem is we've got one special interest group here that keeps pushing septic. Every year they're pushing septic. They happen to have an investment into companies that are
the septic
a
stuff.
partnership. I don't want to say an investment. I'm not going to say the name of the company, but the people that keep pushing this legislation year after year after year partnered up with several of these systems. They've done the decentralized system. They've done about 5 or 6 of them. But what's gonna happen quicker than anything else if you switch it to a septic tank? If you have to take 10, 15 years to get in these decentralized systems and sewers and expand the sewer lines, they're going to be retired by then and things like that. So it's I have concern that their concern is not as much as bettering the environment that their platform's on. You're going to see them. They're already hitting the news stations and stuff that they're measuring waters. This happens every year. They start measuring waters when it gets closer to voting time and when it gets closer to legislation. So the new legislation bills will be out in January. They'll be calling us and we'll find out. But I've been at some of their meetings, and that's what's happening. And so they've pushed this worldwide thing where they have, and they're pushing out that Hawaii is one big cesspool globally. They're telling, so they're thinking that angle is going to put pressure on the
tourism
legislators.
Yeah.
Tourism. You guys got to get
yeah.
this fixed. And when you're in office for 4 years, you don't care what's going to happen.
Yeah, that happens
it's
too.
like, yep.
Yeah. I think that the people who are watching our channel are a pretty smart group of humans.
I think so.
Yeah, and I think that they see where, legislation and money sometimes are tied together. So it would be nice to be like the Hawaiians and surprise people.
2 legislators are in federal prison right now from 2 years ago, taking bribes to guide this cesspool legislation to the way they wanted it. So, and the guy, it's amazing. Mike said it. There's 88,000 right on the islands. There's more than enough for everybody to go around. So why they were paying off for their companies to get it, I think the guy from the company is about ready to go to jail too. That was paying the bribes. He started cooperating with the FBI and turned everybody in.
Oh.
And so, but he still has to pay his day in court because that's federal. And
So,
it's coming.
you guys over here in Facebook land are definitely getting the scoop in the dirt. I might,
sorry, guys. We went way
I
off.
might slice this down a little bit for the YouTube experience. when you tune in the group, you get the dirt and the poop scoop. So beyond that,
So when things are moving forward,
yeah, what are you working on in terms of legislation again? Okay, so I heard that the TAR experience, the transient accommodation rental stuff, that they were going to look at, like I think in October, has now been pushed for an unforeseeable future while they're dealing with the Maui experience. Yeah.
yeah, I'm hoping. I know it was pushed. It was supposed to come out last year, and then it was pushed to January, and then February, and then they went to they got all the way up to version 4, and they came out with version 4, and they saw how flawed it was. They snuck in, if you were doing it, you had to do your cesspool conversion.
Yeah,
if you were
yeah.
doing it, a couple things they snuck in. Immediately they pulled it back and said we're working on version 5, and now when we reach out to them, they say they're working on version 6, so version 5 never came out.
Oh.
And version 6 is now being worked on, and hopefully it does go to the back of things, because one of the things that we were going to go after them with was the emergency proclamation, not this one, but the one a couple weeks ago with the housing for affordable housing that Judge Green.
No, yeah, what happened with that?
It's overshadowed right now with Maui, so I don't know. It's that's kind of put on hold too, I think. But so he's got on one hand to bypass regulations, and now he's got a tough job, and I think he's a good man. I think he'll I think he'll get this figured out.
Yeah.
But anyways, we were going to use that during the proclamation. You couldn't force people, you couldn't change housing things and things like that. So if it did come out in October, we were going to look at it from that angle.
There we go. Okay.
So,
It's been pushed a little bit because their
but now
hands are
it's
full with the Maui
Yeah.
experience.
The
So
last thing you want to do is get rid of all these short-term rentals that are now housing all these people that are without a home. It's been God sent that all
those
these-
were available.
That those
Yeah.
were available.
And I don't know if you guys knew this, but I had heard that they had freed up 1,000, maybe 1,400 short-term vacation rentals. And you know how they did that? Airbnb itself.
Yeah.
The corporation
Stepped up to the
stepped
plate.
up and is paying the homeowners
Yeah.
to have those people come and live in their SPVRs. So, you know what? If nothing else, crises brings out
Yeah.
unimaginable opportunities
Yeah.
that lets people be good people. And so I know that Airbnb is its own corporation. They never do anything about the public relations aspect part of that, but it happened. So
Yeah.
that way the homeowners get paid what they need so they can make their mortgage payments, and the people get a chance to live somewhere.
Yep.
So it's a good day. So
One thing I did want to bring up too, we were talking about that real quick, is I looked at something. I'd sent you something different earlier, but we were kind of looking at. A lot of people are saying don't go to Maui. Some people are saying do go to Maui. What's going on? Maui needs to figure out what Maui needs.
Yeah.
We got to stay out of it. But what I do, what I thought was interesting is I looked back, because you think about what happened here in 2018, but what was I really documenting back then? So I had a couple of things come out where within a couple of weeks of it, we were telling. Within the first week of it, we were telling people we're open.
yeah, we're open for
We're
business.
open for business. We're over here on the side, and that's what Maui has. Half the island is unaffected by this, and they're open for business. They need it, because we had a 50% drop in reservations and a 48% drop in home sales
Yeah,
from that. And
because everyone thought the entire island was on fire.
And the interesting thing is because on that side they only had a 28% drop in home sales, because the people buying homes over there lived there and understood that volcano had only affected this area of land, and they were still buying. In fact, the people that were burned out of this area were buying over in this area, so their sales went down half of what our sales did. And so that's what's happening in Maui, and I'm questioning whether that's going to affect us too, because this is worldwide what's happening here.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to watch in the next month. What our report is, our people, because I remember in 2018, we just took houses off the market. Like if sales are down 50%, I'm just going to take it off and let it sit on it, and we'll come back when people.
Yeah.
And do you know by the end of the year we sold more in 2018 than we did in 2017?
Yeah.
So we made up for it after the realization comes around. So we're in this this mourning period that's going to change to getting back up to and operating and going. So
yeah. Hey, and also I forgot to tell you guys in the very beginning we had fires on Big Island. We did up in Kahala, and I saw it kind of looped together on the national news of Big Island and Maui have massive blazes. And so, since we don't have a news channel station on our island, nobody ever was told that the fires were out. That no structures or people were harmed in the making of that fire, and that we actually we sustained a little bit of natural damage. So Eric and I actually did a video. If you guys want to see it, we put it up on 365 Hawaii, and we actually went out and walked the burn area and threw a drone up in the air and showed that some of the fires came right up to the very edge of those houses in Kahala Ranch and in Mauna Kea. And due to our really great firefighting experience, and there's some volunteer firefighters up in Kahala, and we were talking about the D9s that were given by the Goodfellow brothers.
Yeah, my clients, some people that we sold to, they were woken up at 4 a.m. in the morning with the D9 coming through their fence, and
so those fences were actually knocked down by the bulldozers.
Oh yeah.
Because we were flying over. I'm like, what happened to those fences? Okay, so they created this huge fire break. So it totally helped. So we actually had a blessed experience compared to what happened in Lahaina. That even though we had crazy fires and the same thing that happened to Maui with the depression, the low air pressure caused by the hurricane going to the south of the island pulled in the high pressure, which created these 80-mile-an-hour winds. And then even our friends that we got on film talking about, they said they'd never really seen that kind of level of wind before. Yeah. So it was unprecedented what had happened.
Yeah.
And so it's nice to see, though, that our island, because we don't have as many people there, and everything's kind of spread out a little bit, that there's room to fight. Right?
Yeah.
And so, so if you guys want to see that video, it's out there. And, now the people in Waikoloa Village are also fighting. They want a secondary access road out of their village.
They need it out. Everything. I hope it's too late for many people already, but I hope that legislation comes out of this, that they need to make these roads. They need to make them now, even if they're just dirt roads that aren't paved. But in Maui, it was interesting. One of the news stories we saw here locally was some of the ranchers up there. It was a great story. But they had actually done 8 miles of road on Maui in like 12 hours or 18 hours or something, right? Mm-hmm. And saved it from getting to the next community.
Yeah, there we go.
And I forget what community that is. I'm sorry, you guys, but it's out there. The 8 miles of fire break road. That's what they were doing here. They did it on Maui, and they did it in that time and saved a community. Yeah. So if they can do 8 miles in a day, we can have escape routes, Sorry to get off on a tangent here, but about 10, 12 years ago, the tsunami warnings went off. We do a lot of staycations at the hotels here. We were at the Sheraton for a kid's birthday party. We were staying there for the weekend. Tsunami bells all went off. I'm going to share that when that comes up on my memories again. But we sat there for 2.5, 3 hours just getting from Sheraton Keauhou up Cam 3. Up Kamehameha 3 Road. Yeah. So it took us 2.5, 3 hours just to get up there. Had there been that wildfire, and that's what happened to these people in Maui.
Yeah, they did. They did die in the cars.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone just shoved in there. But since that time, at least they built La'aloa, the connector road up to the major highway from down near White Sands Beach. Because remember that wasn't a connector road back then.
I think that was there 10 years ago.
That's one of the reasons they built that.
Right,
and make it all the way through.
Right.
Because they wanted to get people off of Alihi to get up top to the top to get away from anything that happened. But yeah.
So Kim has a couple more questions. She says, is the inventory less than last year? Guessing there will be probably an influx of Maui residents. And then the other one, she says, thanks for the video on the fires in the hall.
Oh, thanks, buddy. Get this, you guys. There's no inventory. I don't care if people are coming over or not. There's nothing.
So, well, here's some factual island-wide. Okay, 2022, the inventory of new listings for homes island-wide was 341. There's 240 new listings this year. So we kind of learned as we went through.
That's 100 less houses for sale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it's almost 50%.
Well, and also, do you guys know why this is happening? I'm going to give you a really quick little economic snapshot. Everybody and their dog. In fact, I saw the stats today. 90% of people in America who are homeowners today are now into mortgages with less than 5% interest rates because everybody refied, and then people bought into the 2, 3, and 4, and 5%, and then now that it's 7.5%, everyone's like this, not going anywhere. So we have constricted the housing supply by people sitting on those mortgage rates that they've sat on. So they said that they're not going to really move again till we hit at least 5% again at some point, and that could happen in the next 2 to 3 years, maybe. Right?
Yeah, maybe.
So-
Maybe. I don't think,
You think it's 4 or 5 years?
Yeah. Jeez.
So if you want to do us all a favor, sell your house, move, open up the inventory. They also said something funny, you guys. We went to a conference last week in Las Vegas that usually people in our age will downsize and go
Right.
to a smaller home. They said people now our age, the baby boomers, have too much shit. And that we did not downsize the way we were supposed to. So what does he do? He builds a house that's 2,400 square feet, right? 2,700 square feet? You're sitting on a freaking acre?
22 something.
22. And then we bought a house that has over 2,000 square feet up from the condo and the 1,200 square foot house we had to live in.
Yeah.
So we too went bigger.
Yeah.
And we are supposed to be downsizing.
Right.
So this is happening across the country where we're supposed to be freeing up all the housing stock for people to move into bigger homes because they have families. And we're like this. Kids are out. Let's just get more shit.
Yeah. Let's build a bigger house and have more empty rooms.
So
and
this is an unprecedented time in American history in terms of housing shortages.
yeah. And you just think about it too. So the people, let's just say that I get a brilliant moment that Lance, you're 62, get rid of the 3 acres, get rid of the horses, move, downsize. It won't happen with my wife, but if that did happen, all the equity I made over the last 4 years since we built pre-COVID, 6 months before COVID started. So we didn't do it that, but we made, equity's stupid crazy right now, but we would lose all of that in our new payments.
Oh, you mean if you had to go to a smaller house, then you'd be stuck? Well, then you'd pay cash. You wouldn't have to deal with a mortgage.
What am I doing for my retirement then? I mean, you still need your equity out of your home. I could. So what am I doing? I'm gonna sell our
Sell a
new
bunch,
home,
take a
and I'm gonna
piece,
buy back
go
these
small.
money trees and not have a payment.
Some people do that,
There's
Lance.
700 grand in there now, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's
yeah.
like
Yeah. It's crazy, right? So you're kind
right.
of
I'm not going anywhere, even no matter what, because I'm the perfect statistic.
Yeah.
I'm at 3% interest, and we got crazy stupid equity in our home, but
Yeah.
my payment would double.
Yeah, the double. That's true. That's what people were thinking. They say, "Why should I leave?" So, anyway, so you guys, Eric's like doing the whole thing.
Wrap it up,
This is
okay.
what's happening with the housing market, and they don't see things getting any better anytime soon. However, people do have to have a life, and sometimes people, we have people who pass away, we have people get divorced, we have people that have to have a baby, we have things that happen where you just trigger the need to leave and buy a house and the whole spiel. Some people don't, some people on this island, they're leaving because they miss their grandkids.
Yeah.
So there is going to be some level of housing moving, it's just going to go slow. And so, as Scott Wynn likes to say to us, put this in context for our people, that there are...
Is there any lab left?
Right?
Sorry, guys.
there's going to be, and we'll put this all together on YouTube.
This needs to be a
The
two-part
context
series.
here is there are still homes for sale on this island. I have buyers looking right now. They actually have 3 houses to look at this week in their price range, which is under $1 million. And if you really want to make it happen, like these people do, you say, well, it's 7%. Eric and I bought a house back in the Bay Area in 1999. It was 7%. It didn't kill us. It's just what it was. And so there's still opportunities here to buy a house, get on with your life, live in Hawaii, and get on with your life.
You gotta.
Yeah.
How long can you pause it for?
Right, it could be 3 to 5 years if you're waiting for the perfect time.
Yep.
So anyway, we're not going to give you the party line of any time's a good time to buy a house, but whatever.
Today's the best time you could ever have to buy a house.
You guys always get the spicy and the saucy here.
Yeah.
Anything else?
That's it.
Okay.
Aloha. Thank you, guys.
So you guys, hold on, wait. I got to do the wrap up. Of course, you guys have to hear this one. If you wanted to go live and hear us and chat and be able to have your name called out like my friends here on Facebook, join the Ohana. You go to 365hawaiiliving.com. Join the Ohana if you are not currently working with a realtor. That's the kicker here. We both sell real estate. Eric does too, and that's how we make our money. This is how we make this show pay for itself, not Ola Brew.
Yeah.
We want your business.
Thirsty.
I think that we have something to offer everybody. We we help people buy and sell houses and do investments, but we also do it with, we tell you aloha and
we know that we know what's happening. We know what's going on with your cesspools and septic and your zoning and all these different things.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
if
so,
you want
yeah.
somebody that is passionate about the area,
right, and knows their statistics
And
and
about
knows
their
market
clients,
experience.
yeah.
We
Yeah.
go to the houses, we see what's going on. But anyway, so that's our commercial for ourselves and our channel. And if you go to 365 Hawaii, as Eric says, subscribe. And also subscribe to this channel because we keep bringing you guys the real estate information. And next Thursday, we are going to be doing our Zoom call, and you guys can jump on it. Oh, you're saying? Oh, statistics. Okay.
We'll have this up because we really missed a lot of pages today.
Okay, so you guys can look at the PDF
Yeah, we'll
on
have
the
that.
Facebook page because if
Online,
you're part
yeah.
of the Ohana, then you get access to the statistics.
Yeah.
But next week we're going to have the Zoom call where we get all of our realtors from around the island to chat, and we're going to have a new guest guy. It's going to be Andy Madrid. He did a video for us about houses in South County, which is
South County,
South Hawaii, you could
Kona,
say.
yeah.
No, south, like south. Like
Okay.
he's going to be talking about Discovery
Down
Harbor
south, okay.
and Volcano and all of these parts that are affordable. He's going to be chiming in on that market. So it's going to be new and different, and it'll give people a chance to hear what's happening in the affordable aspect of our island. So tune in for that. I'm going to be putting the Zoom link on the Facebook page, but also if you want to be part of that and you're getting this in the next week, send me an email and I'll make sure that you get on the list. Julie@Ziemelis.com, and I'll put that information in the description below as well. And
And-
Eric has
Really quick, I do have a golf course frontage property in Discovery Harbor, Lava Zone 6. That's way better than Kona is. County water and electricity for $67,000.
hey, there you go.
Cleared, ready to build.
Yep,
Go.
yep. That's kind of like the cool new hidden gem of real
Yeah.
estate on the island. Eric, you're saying?
I'm
No,
saying
no.
Kim says thank you. Lance Bond says great information, and
Thank you,
James
guys.
Porter says great discussion as always.
Ah,
You guys
there
are
we go.
awesome. Thank you so much.
I love our fans.
I do.
So you guys have a great night and have a great weekend, and you guys stay safe.
Stay safe. Aloha.
Aloha.